The Tax Policy Center just evaluated Donald Trump's tax policy today, revealing that his proposal would cut federal revenue by $9.5 trillion over the next 10 years. It would also make the wealthiest wealthiest people in America, the top 1%, $1.3 million richer a year. Here with his thoughts on this and so much more is Republican presidential candidate and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. Governor, welcome.
Good afternoon.
So do you agree with Trump's tax plan and the serious cuts it's making to the government revenue?
I agree with the Jeb Bush tax plan, which I laid out in detail, that simplifies the code to 3 rates, lowers the maximum rate to 28%, that creates a corporate tax rate of 20%, eliminates all of the loopholes and deductions, and simplifies the code. It would create an explosion of investment and create high-wage jobs, which is what we need to do. And the government is going to get its money, but what we need to do now is put more money in people's pockets, and that's what my plan does.
So you disagree with Donald Trump's tax plan, then?
Well, his tax plan is sketchy at best, and my tax plan is one that has lots of details and has been heralded by the Wall Street Journal and others as a plan that will create the most dynamic response to the lethargic economic recovery that we're facing. We need to put money in people's pockets, and tax policy, simplifying the code and lowering rates has got to be part of that.
Governor, Trump has also gone after Secretary Hillary Clinton using some pretty derogatory language about her 2008 loss to Obama. What do you think about that type of language on the campaign trail?
I don't think you can insult your way to the presidency. I know that for a fact. Every time he does that, it makes it harder for the eventual nominee to win. And that's my goal. It's not to be the big personality on the stage and to insult people, disparage people, tell people with disabilities, make fun of them. I mean, come on. We're running for the presidency of the United States. We need a serious candidate to take on Hillary Clinton, not someone who is viewing this as a reality TV show. So I think it's wrong to do this. It's bad politics, and it's making the culture of our country even worse than it is today.
Well, to follow up on that, Governor, 50% of people, according to Pew, said they would be embarrassed by Trump being president. Would you be embarrassed? Would you support him if he were the nominee?
He's not going to be the nominee. I intend to.
But right now it looks like he could be, with all due respect.
Hey, yep, I know it. Okay, I'm glad that you're respectful, but the simple fact is I believe I'm going to be the nominee, and it's going to start here in New Hampshire, where people take their role responsibly. And they're not going to support a candidate that insults every single group that exists in this country. They want someone that has provocative ideas to fix the culture in Washington, and ideas like a tax policy that will create economic growth.
Governor, are you saying that supporting Trump would be irresponsible?
No, what I'm saying is I'm going to be the nominee. Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
All right, let's get into the New Hampshire situation right now. You're still polling relatively far behind, but today you tacked Governor Christie and his economic record for the first time. And Governor Christie, hearing your comments about his downgrades of the credit rating in New Jersey, said that they would defend the record any day of the week, and they went on to brag about the employment rate in New Jersey. What's your response to his response to what you said?
My response to his response? Look, I was only talking about my record as governor, where we cut taxes totaling $19 billion. The government workforce was reduced by 11%, but we led the nation in job growth. Income grew in the state by 4.4%. We were one of 2 states to go to AAA bond rating. The reserves in the state went from $1 billion to $9 billion. It's because I was a conservative, reform-minded governor, and I implemented reforms that created the greatest economic gain of any state. And that matches well with New Jersey or any other state. I wasn't critical of Christie. I like the guy. I'm just saying my record is a better one.
Well, right now you're currently polling at 4%, Governor, in the latest Quinnipiac poll. Lindsey Graham getting out of the race. Do you expect that to help your numbers at all? I know you've scooped up some endorsements in South Carolina. And are you going for Senator McCain's endorsement here?
I'm working hard for the endorsement of the voters, first and foremost. I would love to have the support of Senator McCain, Senator Graham. They're great patriots. I respect and admire them greatly, and many other people. But ultimately, I have to make this case almost one-on-one, which the beauty of New Hampshire is you can do that. This is going to be a regular occurrence, that I'm going to have town hall meetings all across the state. They want to know what you believe about the future of this country, what ideas you have, and what your record is. And they ask really good questions, and it's not about the questions that are generally asked on the cable shows. It's really amazing. There's like this huge disconnect. People want to know about how to deal with the debt, how to solve our tax problems, how come businesses can't be created, how to deal with health care insurance costs that are skyrocketing, not about who's winning and who's losing. And I'm encouraged by that because they ultimately are the ones that make the decision.
Well, you know, I spent a lot of time on the ground in New Hampshire myself covering the last campaign, and sometimes you do feel momentum on the ground that you don't feel here in the New York City studios. I'll give you that. So last time we saw Governor Jon Huntsman getting a little bit of momentum, but it was definitely too late by the time the primary rolled around. You've got 48 days left to go. What on earth are you going to do to get out of where you are and beat potentially Donald Trump and Ted Cruz?
Well, we're doing significantly better than you're describing in New Hampshire, and I'll keep working hard. I feel very confident about it. We have the greatest organization of the campaigns here, and we've put all the resources necessary, and I'm encouraged about where we are. And ultimately, look, it's not about my opinion or your opinion. It's going to be the voters of New Hampshire and the caucus goers of Iowa, the folks in South Carolina and Nevada, and then we go into the states in March. They'll make the decision. I'm encouraged by that, I promise you.
Well, Governor Jeb Bush, thank you so much for joining us from New Hampshire today.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.